Hey there, Max here, and today we're going to be watching another Mujin video. This one is how a VTuber got fired for a dad joke she made 5 years ago. Oro Crony versus South Korea. Now, Crony is one of the few VTubers I really have seen around, and so to hear, I did hear a little bit about this particular thing that happened, and I saw the little video that seemed to accompany it, and some sort of a joke about boars? Like, what the heck? Like, I don't know what in the world is going on with South Korea, but that seems like the dumbest joke to possibly be able to blame people over. I've seen a lot worse things to get counseled over, but it was probably the dumbest thing ever. But I guess we're going to find out if there's a little more to this story than meets the eye. Hopefully there is, because surely that cannot just be it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this started here. If you enjoy, leave a like. If you don't, leave a dislike. If there's anything that you want me to react towards, please put it in the comments. And please do subscribe to follow along with my reactions and Let's Plays and helps build up my community. Let me go ahead and get this started here. Mujin, take it away.
Digital footprint. The idea that no matter what you do on the internet stays on the internet and can be found by someone else at a later date.
It is 100% true.
And that, of course, includes any potential future employers.
Once again, 100% true.
In fact, there are numerous studies in multiple countries that go through this. How people have genuinely lost opportunities due to what they said or did on social media. So what would you do if a dream job of yours got taken away from you due to something that you said on the internet almost 5 years ago? Well, that's exactly what happened to one of the most recognized...
There's definitely has to be some sort of statute of limitations on that. I mean, just for like most laws, 7 years is most commonplace for that, if I recall. You would think 7 years might also be a statute, well, at least a reasonable statute for anything you say on the internet as far as accountability, but then again, there's a whole bunch of like opinions and thoughts about that, I imagine, and I'm sure employers will... Well, it exists out there, therefore it's still there, so who knows?
Visible English-speaking VTubers on the planet, Uro Crony from Hololive. You see, other than being a VTuber, she also happens to be a talented voice actor. This is why for her, getting to voice in the game Eternal Return, a MOBA game that's pretty popular in South Korea, was an opportunity that she very much looked forward to.
Oh, that's a MOBA game?
Especially seeing that she was going to represent a character that was very hyped by the community. So imagine her shock, as she had already voiced this character to completion. As we were nearing the release date for this character, she would find out through a random public post from the Japanese Twitter page of the game that she was getting fired effective immediately.
Oh, that's the worst way to find out that your work's not being done, right? Not even just from a Twitter post, but a Twitter post from a community that's you're not even really focused in on that. That is horrible.
Reason? A terrible joke that she had made around 5 years ago back in 2021. A one-liner. And when I say terrible joke, I don't mean that it was offensive or anything. No, terrible.
It just didn't land. It was just a dumb joke.
As in, it was a dad joke. It was the most harmless, lamest thing you've ever heard in your life. To say that this decision had caused controversy is an understatement because it caused an earthquake. So much so that it might have single-handedly destroyed any chance this game has of reaching a non-South Korean audience.
Wow.
So what the hell happened and how did we get here? Well, let's talk about it. Alright, so the studio at the center of this controversy is none other than Nimble Neuron. It was established shortly before the pandemic as a result
I have no context about this particular game, so I'm learning a whole bunch of new stuff here.
Of a merger from two different studios. After that merger, they would decide to work on their main project, Eternal Return Black Survival. And on October 14th,
I mean, the game looks cool.
2020, it would come out on Steam Early Access. Now it's easy.
Jeez, 2020? That's an old game.
To mistake Eternal Return as some indie game that wouldn't make much of an impact in the gaming industry.
Then again, if it's a MOBA, then it could be just like the style of like League of Legends. So yeah, I could definitely hang around for a good while.
But not everyone shared that opinion. Like for example, Kakao Games, one of the biggest gaming conglomerates in South Korea, who would partner up with Nimble Neuron to publish the game. This partnership would allow them to take the marketing of the game to the next level. That's because, okay, listen, the K-pop group aespa would drop a music video for the song Next Level in collaboration with Eternal Return.
I know nothing about K-pop. I don't know any of the bands or anything. I guess that's more like a groups thing, but I know nothing about them other than KDA from League.
You simply don't
And even then, that's kind of a stretch.
see this every day, even in South Korea, the land of K-pop. aespa in particular wasn't some low-tier K-pop group that no one had heard of. It must have cost
You mean the K in K-pop stands for Korea?
a fortune to hire them to do this. Kakao Games was putting a lot of hope in Eternal Return, and I mean, why is that? What made this game so special? Well, it's combined two of the most popular gaming genres in South Korea together. The first one being MOBAs, like League of Legends or Dota 2. The other genre that was combined with MOBAs was Battle Royales.
Okay, how do you combine those together?
You might think it's a dead genre, especially with their diminished popularity in the West.
Oh,
but
no.
Man, are they still popular in Asia. In fact, PUBG makes most of its revenue right now from China, and they're also pretty damn popular in South Korea. So, with these two genres combined, Kakao Games was hoping to make bank here.
Seriously, how do you mesh those together? I don't see the vision.
But how did the game work? Well, it would start with you landing on the map with your team, and you would try to find the best gear in different loot boxes. You would level up in a multitude of different ways, like attacking NPCs, and eventually you would bring the fight to other players. The early access version of the game would come out with quite a bit of different characters.
Definitely looking a lot like Dota here.
But overall, back in 2020, this was somewhat of a brand new concept, and it definitely had a very steep learning curve. It would prove to be popular, especially in South Korea, and 3 years later,
Is that a burger on a stick? Oh, that's a fork. Okay, that's cute. That's cute.
it would release, going from being called Eternal Return Black Survival to just Eternal Return. A year later, the partnership between Nimble Neuron and Kakao Games would dissolve, which meant that Nimble Neuron would become the sole publisher of the game. Now, there could be a variety of reasons for that, but
Oh, dang, that is like a heartbeat monitor level of up and down, ain't it?
one of them is probably the fact that this game has had a hard time growing. By June 2023, the game had almost died, with 5,000 concurrent players, down from 50,000 during its early access release.
That is
But
rough.
it did get somewhat of a boost after finally releasing on Steam, like the full release. I think Kakao Games was
I could see why that would definitely boost it up.
expecting it to be way more successful, and today, it peaks at around 20,000 players every day. But here's the problem. When South Koreans go to sleep, the player count goes to nothing. Meaning that even in 2026, this game's demographic is only located in one region of the world. It
South
simply
Korea.
wasn't successful enough in spreading to other regions, most notably the West. Now, as of today, this game has way more characters than it used to, but
Honestly, I think that's just advertising, because I've never even heard of this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't. I'm sure if they had more people out there saying its name, I think it would catch some interest.
back in
I mean, look at that art style. That's a really nice, interesting art style, and it sounds like the gameplay is a very unique take on the MOBA / a battlegrounds kind of thing.
early access. They also happen to be the main monetization mechanic that this game possesses.
Of
whether
course.
it's you buying a character or buying them skins. This means that a lot of effort is put into every single one of these characters, whether it be their design, their kit, right, their abilities, and their voice, their personality.
Hey, let me know in the comments if you think I should give this game a try.
If they can nail all these factors together in a character, it means they'll make the most amount of money. So back in January of 2026, when we got a reveal of 2 different characters coming out soon, the community was very excited over their designs. But out of those 2, the character Bihyung really stood out. She looked different than many of the other already existing characters, and she seemed to have a vibrant and interesting personality.
Definitely seems to pop out more than a lot of the more office attire kind of folks.
At the same time, for Nimble Neuron, this presented itself as a very important opportunity. This is because they would hire Dotavu as its English voice actress. This is someone with a large fan base who just so happens to be quite experienced in voice acting, having started doing it back in 2014 and possessing an impressive, diverse resume. The person behind Dotavu also just so happens to be the same person behind Uro Crony, one of the most recognizable English VTubers under the corporation Hololive. Now, yes, she is
Okay, that's you don't really hear a lot about the people behind the voices of the characters of VTubers these days. Don't know if she's gonna appreciate you calling them out like that, but I guess it's relevant.
isn't just talented enough to bring out the personality of this character, but she also just so happens to have a very large and loyal audience. More importantly, a large and English-speaking loyal audience, one that is located in the West, the demographic that Nimble Neuron is specifically targeting for its growth. This meant that as soon as the character released, many of her audience would have downloaded the game just to check it out for her. It was genius, and yet, that entire plan was squandered when Eternal Return would randomly, only on its Japanese account on Twitter, announce to the world that Urochrony was being fired, even though the character was close to release. The reasoning, a dad joke from 5 years ago.
That makes so little sense to me. There are so many worse things to get fired over, but a dad joke of all things? Like, come on! How bad does this have to be that for such a massive protest to come up to shut them down happen? Like, come on!
Eternal Return has multiple
Surely South Koreans don't have that bad a sense of humor.
different Twitter
I thought the Germans had a worse one.
accounts for multiple regions. They have one in English, they have one in South Korean, they have one in Japanese, etc., etc. On May 7th, 2026, they would tweet out a notice outlining the fact that Baehyung's voice actress was going to be replaced and giving us their logic. It will be viewed almost 4 million times, and as you can see from the comment to like ratio and the fact that the post got ratioed multiple times, yeah, people weren't very happy about that. They would also post the same
Well,
statement
now I know that if I ever hear the name Dotovu, now I know who they're talking about.
on their website. I'll read that one because the one on Twitter was translated from Japanese to English and it's not really a perfect translation. Here's what they'd have to say. Hello Lumia Island survivors. Thank you for your support for our newest character, Baehyung. Unfortunately, we will be recasting her English voice actor, which means Baehyung will temporarily not have an English voice in-game. We will announce more details about the recasting and update schedule separately. So this character that people were excited about that was meant to get a new audience in the West is coming out with no English voice. This is how drastic this is. This usually
That is insane. Why would you do that? Like, this is your chance to really hit the English market.
only happens if the voice actor in question, I don't know, like causes a crime, is accused of like messaging minors or something. Like, this is drastic. They're not even releasing this character with her voice and then replacing it later. No, they're releasing her mute. Anyway, it would continue. At the moment, our English voice casting is supported by external partners. The process operates as an audition, where the development team receives voice samples for a blind test from applicants to select the final voice. However, without an extensive database of overseas voice actors, our pre-casting screening process is admittedly weaker than our domestic one. In coordination with our local casting partners, we would like to provide additional context to ensure a clearer understanding of the casting process.
Oh, this should be good.
While our casting process for the English-speaking market involves only legal names and includes background checks, the information available through our contractual relationships made the current situation difficult to predict. As reinforcing this verification process exceeds the scope of our local partners' responsibilities, we will be looking for effective ways to independently implement a secondary verification system in the future. While it is difficult to implement structural changes quickly within the current system, we are actively looking for effective ways to improve and reinforce our verification process.
Okay, what's this got to do with Crony?
So this is them essentially saying, hey, our external partners fucked up. They could have done a better job. We're going to step in to ensure there's another layer of verification for whoever we cast for English voice acting, making it seem like they had hired someone like Dr. Disrespect by mistake.
Yes, no kidding. I'm like what did they do? Like, seriously? Like, what on earth? Like, you are completely changing up an entire system because of a dad joke? What the fuck?
Made it sound like whatever the voice actress behind Baehyung did was drastic. It was unforgivable to the point where the character had to release muted. This spread quickly, and even the English-speaking community of Eternal Return was dumbfounded. To them, even though they didn't watch VTubers, this was still a big deal, because this game, as I told you already, was lacking in English-speaking players, in Western players. Having a voice actress with such a large following was a major step for this game to finally spread to non-South Koreans.
Actually, if they're going to be this tight-assed about things, I don't think I am going to have any interest in the game whatsoever.
So what could have the voice actress possibly done here to warrant getting fired publicly to the point where we can't even hear her voice? Well, the reason for this firing was because of a joke she had made almost 5 years ago while she was playing the early access version of this game during a sponsored stream. The stream itself was—
I mean, for crying out loud, the Paul brothers keep getting work and the horrible things that they've done over the years. This is just a dumb joke. What the heck?
done on Urocrony's channel, okay? Not on Dotovu's channel. This is like you working at, I don't know, Microsoft and having a side business on Etsy and someone telling you they can't work with you on your Etsy because you work at Microsoft. It doesn't make any sense. In any case, the stream was from November 8th, 2021, and as I said, this whole stream was sponsored by Eternal Return. Here is the joke that lost her this job and made Eternal Return fumble the opportunity of a lifetime.
Again, 4 years ago.
Watch.
Almost 5 now.
He's such a bore.
I'm gonna go.
A boring. Ha ha ha.
That's it. That's
There's gotta be some. Come on, there's gotta be something else. This is the clip I saw as well too. So, this is so dumb. Why are you? I don't. What the heck, Eternal Return? You had such a win. She's in the recognizable name and up here in the English side of things, and you drop her because of a dad joke? You just made the Koreans look tight-assed.
That is it. This is the joke that made them make this statement, making it seem like she had murdered someone while drunk driving. She saw a boar and she called it boring. That's it. Like, come on, dude. This is you really have nothing else to do in your life. Anyway, around the time of her firing, Dotovu would make
And it still blows my mind that they're like wanting to change up their systems of interview and additions over this too. It's a joke. Not even a bad one. No innuendos, nobody harmed. It's just literally a single throwaway joke too. I'm pretty sure she didn't have much thought about it either. It's just a thing to throw out there, as we all have to do whenever we're trying to do content or streams and things.
this statement on Twitter saying, coming from someone whose English is also not their first language, if English is not a language you're fluent in, I hope you are able to first analyze and understand what wordplay and a genuinely harmful comment is before taking action. This has always been a constant problem I've had with some individuals where they would process my words through a rough translator and twist my words. It was hurtful to see this, but I didn't think it could be harmful, but I see how mistranslations towards myself could make a negative impact.
What sort of mistranslation about this joke could there possibly be?
I hope those who would misconstrue words through a mistranslation could reflect on how their seemingly innocent action can impact others and be more careful with their actions. As for individuals who misconstrue with ill intent in mind, I sincerely hope you can grow as a person. I won't lie, a taken opportunity over this is quite hurtful, but there are more projects on the horizon to look forward to that I constantly audition for with my own efforts as a voice actor and not through anything else. Thank you to those who I was able to work with, and to the people who was excited for me, I'll continue to do better. Dotovu had gotten this role not because she just so happens to be Urocrony at Hololive, right? Even Eternal Return in their dogshit statement admitted this. Their external partners get voice samples for a blind test. That is it. Then they move forward with them or reject them. Dotovu doesn't just go around saying, hey, I work at Hololive. No, she wants to actually earn it herself, right? And when it came to Baeyoung, she did. However, seeing that her double identity isn't really kept secret, some South Korean fans of the game would look into her sponsored streams from almost 5 years ago and see that she had made this joke. Now, of course, if you're an English speaker, you'd know that this is just a terrible dad joke pun. This is not offensive. This is not meant to be offensive in any way. But these fans just translated this and thought she was calling the game boring. And by calling the game boring, she had committed a cardinal sin.
They thought they were calling the game Oh my. I am. Wow, that is. Okay, I guess they get what they get. They deserve what they get, I guess.
How dare she voice in my game if she thinks it's boring? They went ahead and complained to the developer, and the developer, instead of telling them, fuck off, get a life, chose to actually side with them, fearing that they could lose their most important demographic. Around the same time the Dotovu tweet was made talking about this, Urocrony's account would tweet something that wasn't as serious, saying, breaking news, a tire is tiring and a bore is boring.
Well, at least she's keeping a stiff chin on it.
If you found this pun to be controversial, then hôpital. Someone replied with, gasp, you can't just say that, to which she said, sorry for puns. So it seemed like at least on her Urocrony account she was taking this jokingly, lightly, because at the end of the day it is a very ridiculous situation. On the initial post made by Eternal Return on their Japanese account, people were absolutely outraged. If you want to go through them
Anybody who really got the joke, oh my god, Twitter is a battleground of warfare right now. It is
Individually,
nuts.
you can pause the video.
I don't know anybody who's agreeing with the company on this.
I mean, look at all this. They are cooking them. Many talking about how they didn't even know this game existed until Dotavu talked about it. This was the fumble of a century. But not everyone thought this way, of course. There were two sides to this story. The first one, of course, being outraged over how stupid this is, but the other side being the South Koreans who wanted her out of the game. Those people would be outraged that she would tweet, "Breaking news, a tire is tiring and a bore is boring," saying things like, "No sense of professionalism whatsoever," and instead of reflecting on their actions, they get pissed off and fill up on nothing but pissing content.
Who are these bozos? Seriously? You are taking that much of an offense again? Oh my... And I thought League of Legends had a toxicity problem. These people are nuts.
Tests, it's truly pathetic to watch. They would allege that
Are Koreans really this bad with jokes?
what she was doing is trash talking, and even say things like, "If you just kept your mouth shut, you'd probably think, oh, even so, I was just cracking my usual dumb jokes out of habit and got unfairly cornered for a slip-up." But instead of an apology or even the slight
An apology for a dad joke about a bore? Are y'all mad? What the heck is Korea smoking?
slightest remorse, what the hell is this? Dragging this account into it and telling me to go to the hospital? They really were making it seem like she had murdered someone, right? Even objectively speaking, this is outrage that doesn't really match what was actually done. This South Korean player here, though, was a bit more reasonable with their explanation, saying this: "I hope you can all understand the sentiments of Koreans.
No! No, I don't understand the sentiment of Koreans because it's a dumb joke!
Although there were many people who were too angry, Koreans are very sensitive about paid activities, such as advertising. They don't prefer jokes that can be taken in a negative way, in this case, boring and boring." So this was the other side of this story, right? They felt
Y'all take things so darn literally. I'm surprised y'all don't crack jokes with the Germans.
like she didn't really take it seriously, like she was being unprofessional. But what didn't help is that many people who held this opinion expressed it in a very aggressive manner, making the average person feel like this was being blown out of proportion to ridiculous levels. Like, look at this guy saying, "Didn't prepare at all for the ad broadcast. Went so far as to put even the colleague she was working with in a tough spot with an over-the-top wordplay stunt."
Wordplay stunt? Come on! It was a dumb joke!
5 years later, applied to that game with a voice actor account, got dropped due to controversy over the above actions. Then she wrote a post picking a fight with the existing game fans. Don't compress this into something boring.
Wow.
So this to them was inexcusable. What she had done was insanely bad. It's one of the worst things you can do as a content creator. And
I don't get to ever interact with Koreans very much at all. Whenever I do, it's usually through food, which is wonderful stuff. But are the Korean people this uptight? Jesus, and I thought Japan was a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It was very super hyper aggro professional, but Jesus, I don't ever want to go to Korea like
almost
this.
every account talking about this would be rooting for the same thing. What they really wanted from her for this to be okay was an apology.
An apology? You wouldn't last a day in America. I'm telling you, this is par for the course dad jokes at a barbecue stuff. Y'all would not stand it. You would not survive this.
They wanted her to boot up the stream and say, "Guys, I am so sorry for what I did and how I behaved during the stream 5 years ago." But other than this really harmless joke, what else could she have possibly done that made them think that she was unprofessional? Well, the user Fishy Fishy Dodo actually wrote a Google Doc summarizing this entire drama. In this,
They made a Google Doc. A Google Doc was made over this. What the heck?
he would offer us some bonus info about how other streamers had actually played this game back during early access in 2020 and how they all struggled getting to know its mechanics, because this is a very high barrier to entry game. So this unprofessionalism that some of these South Koreans were complaining about was the fact that Urocrony didn't do enough research, didn't get acclimated enough with the game before her sponsored stream, even though she won a game. And in this document, we'd actually see an example of XQC playing it back in October 2020, and he also struggled to understand the mechanics of this game. He had no idea what the hell was going on, and his chat was constantly making fun of the game and how bad it was, even though this as well was a sponsored stream, making the argument that maybe, just maybe, these angry fans were expecting a bit too much from content creators during a sponsored segment. So by now, the fact that she got fired
I know. Now we know, Americans, if we ever want to play this game, if we ever want to trigger the South Koreans, just make this joke in the chat. It'll make them all flip out. Although you'll probably get banned very darn quickly.
Most harmless pun. And the fact that
Does the game even have a chat system?
she wasn't passionate about the game enough made this entire situation seem like the biggest nothing burger of all time. It made the developer seem like they had no spine and that they were easily bullied by the worst aspects of their community. And more importantly in all this, it hurt the game very badly. This is what we call consequences.
All they had to do was nothing. Just progress things as normal, and you would have been perfectly fine on the company side. This is what you do when you take things greatly serious. Like, oh my god, this is insane.
Look, it's no secret at this point. South Koreans are going extinct. Now, there are many reasons for that, like, for example, the cost of living crisis happening
85%
all over the world.
Jesus.
More importantly, though, men and women hate each other for a multitude of different reasons, but it's gotten very ugly. So this had quickly gone from, are you stupid?
Wow, these boars are so boring. But Tish, get it? You have angered our chuds. I sentenced you to death. I'll have you know my mother was a boar. I am insulted.
You
Good
fired her
lord.
over a joke into a nasty battle, alleging that the reason why Urochrony got fired was because a bunch of Korean incels convinced the developer to fire her. The fact that the only reason
Jesus.
she was targeted was because she was both
You know it's bad when the Germans have a better sense of humor than you.
the woman and a VTuber. In this video, we're not going to go too deep into that radioactive wasteland of death and despair. You should know, though, that it did devolve into a battle like that, which of course made this developer look even worse. Are you really catering to incels? Well, that's what it seemed like to many. At the same time, even though Urochrony had initially wanted to take this lightly, jokingly, it seemed like seeing so many people try to twist her words and attitude got to her. And so on May 7th, she tweeted, I really wanted to play Silk Song and talk with everyone, but I think I'm just going to have to take the day off. I'll be back soon, so be good, everyone. Thank you for all that you do. This, of course, made her
She's a nice person, too, from everything I've seen of her. She doesn't deserve this kind of hatred from this. It was a dumb joke, man.
audience even more outraged at this company and how they were trying to ruin her name for no reason. Soon you'd see many content creators for the game Eternal Return come out and speak about this, saying things like, as an Eternal Return content creator, it's really sad to see the state of ER right now, but I want to say I'm super proud of how the English community has banded together to support Crony. Every Discord server I'm in is rioting about the unfairness of it. People are banding together with boar icons, boar names, and demanding nimble neuron
It's the new year of the pig, everybody.
response. Regardless of the outcome, I'm super proud of everyone. We might flame each other sometimes and get frustrated, but we're still a community, and it shows in times like this.
Oh, this person got totally flamed and destroyed, didn't they?
So this had essentially become a movement, right? Now, everyone in protest is putting on the boar icon. And Nimble Neuron, I think, by now understands that appeasing the small amount of loud, toxic players pisses off the majority. Here we have an official English caster for the game Eternal Return during tournaments, tweeting, the Korean Eternal Return community thinks they're doing us a favor, but in reality just lost one of the biggest opportunities for the West to grow over a pun that wasn't even directed towards the game.
Honestly, this didn't just make this game look bad, it made all of Korea look uptight and can't take a joke, or doesn't even know what a joke is.
Most of the people upset probably don't even use English voice acting. Huge disappointment. And yeah, that's a very good point. It seems, right? It seems, I'm not going to say it's 100% true, but it seems like most of the people pissed off at Crony are South Korean. They don't even play the game in English, so what's the problem?
Right?
But hey, listen, it's still important to note, not all South Koreans are like this, obviously. Here's someone from South Korea saying, this is exactly fucking why I hate my own country's web community. Fucking toxic about things they are not even able to certainly understand about it. Those fuckers and losers just couldn't resist from cyberbullying.
Yeesh.
Great job. What a great fucking job. Hope you guys are proud. So as
I think they are very proud of themselves, actually.
always, it's not black and white. There's always nuance. Not every South Korean was okay with this. Another Eternal Return content creator would speak out and would
And if by chance there happens to be that one lone South Korean that somehow finds my work anyway, I am sorry if this is not what y'all are like, but I don't get the chance to ever really interact with Koreans like at all, and I'm sorry if this is a very poor representation of the people.
write a lengthy post. In summary, he'd say that he was really excited to see the English side of the game finally get some support after being neglected for so long. But now this opportunity has passed, and it's time to move on and not do the same mistake again. But can we really move on from this without an apology
Ooh, look at that. Oh, that is a rating disaster.
from Eternal Return for their dumbass mistake? Probably not. The game got review bombed on Steam. showing that they were truly not appeasing the majority of people with their decision. They were just appeasing a minority. The game today, when it comes to recent reviews, sits at mostly negative, with only
the death knell of the red name.
27% of the last 1,700 reviews being positive. This story spread like wildfire, whether it be on Twitter, whether it be in news articles, whether it be in videos like this one. People who have never heard of the game are now aware of its existence and will probably never play it because they'll constantly be reminded of this. No, unlike what you—
It's a boring game now. That is now how I will now forever remember it. It is the bore game.
might have already been told, not all publicity is good publicity. I had never heard of this game before. Many people had never heard of this game before. And now, when someone thinks of Eternal Return, they'll think of how they can't handle a dad joke. They'll also, ironically, think of the word boring. This is now officially the fate of this game, forever associated with the word boring over one of the dumbest decisions I have seen in recent history. But hey, a few days after taking a break, Urochrony would come back on May 10th and would tweet out, "I've noticed and have read them. Thank you. Best community ever, and I feel loved. As always, I will never take it for granted. Thank you." So hey, in the end,
that's wonderful, at
Urochrony
least.
lost a voice acting role she was looking forward to. Whatever. She still has her incredible community to thank, and as she had already mentioned, has a lot of interesting projects lined up. Those projects will benefit not just from a very talented voice actress, but also from a very loyal community. Something that Eternal Return and their developer Nimble Neuron will never get to experience because of their dumbass decision making. I hope that Urochrony continues to make the worst dad jokes in existence, and I hope that other developers can see and learn from this so that they don't seek to appease the wrong people with their decisions. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. If you want to see some extra yapping videos from me, then definitely make sure to check out stacked.com. It's like Patreon, but better. And I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I love you so much, platonically, of course.
Of course.
Mwah.
What kind of doctor was Dr. Pepper? He was a physician. Oh. God damn it, Crony. I wonder if that's a joke she really made. Oh, dear lordy, I'm pretty sure that's exactly the... Yeah, that's fully end. Okay, so... What do I think about this situation? Oh, dear good lord. That... Of all the things to get fired out from, to having a very well-known name through the English community, like, she could have really brought in a whole nother level of people to play the game. I was excited to give this game a try, but to find out it wasn't not just the company of the game, but like the Korean people just completely flipped out on her over this very dumb joke. It's like, in America, this is something that we say, well, not the thing exactly say. Things like this are some things that we say like a dime a dozen a day, man. Like, this is like nothing to her. It's us. If you ever come to America, be careful, because you will not survive a day if this kind of stuff is, if you're that thin-skinned to not even handle a boring joke like this. Oh, but no, I know that the majority of Korean people are not actually like this. I know. I'm not truly gonna let this really ruin all Koreans for me just over a dumb thing like this. But it is gonna be a sore spot. I'm not gonna lie. And it is, if I ever go to Korea one day, I'm going to be very darn careful about what I say if I ever say anything. But yeah, so, Eternal Return, let me know. Should I actually give it a try? If you've played it, let me know what you think of the game itself. Game merits, not exactly what all this is about. Because I'm at least curious about it, because I do like a good MOBA now and then. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. If there is anything that you want me to react towards, please let me know in the comments. And please do subscribe to follow along more with any of my reactions or Let's Plays. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and be sure to live life to the max. I'm out! Bye!